according to what I told you earlier, remember, that was the introduction. Then here, I made the summary of each period. So first, it's going to be me who will be telling you each of the periods that I had given you earlier. Then, you will be the one to tell me one by one. And we will compare if your work and my work is the same or no. Understood?
Yes.
Let's start with, I told you earlier that they came from Germany. This Germanic tribe went to Great Britain. So the English, the Saxons, and the Jutes, after they arrived to Great Britain, they arrived with a language called the Old English. So when they came to England, they were using the Old English language. Understood? Then, 50% of the English words that we use nowadays, they came from Old English period. But, there is a very big but. A lot of words from the Old English period, even the native speakers of English, they cannot understand it right now. Did you understand? The letters were different and the words were very formal and old. Like Tajik language. If it is Farsi, the very, very, very adabi kind of Farsi, not everyone can understand, right? So the same. The native English of the language that we use nowadays, which are in Great Britain or even in the US, the Old English words, some of them, they do not understand because it's super old. Clear? Now, that period, the Old English period was from 450 our time or Nashay Bema AD to 1100 AD. When it is here, you will read it by twos, remember? So this one is 1100, you call it 1100. Again, what was the period? From 450 AD to 1100. Then, let's go to the next period, which is the Middle English. During the Middle English, especially in 1066, there was one duke. Okay, what is duke? It's like king. Yeah, correct. So, the name of the duke was William the Conqueror. What is conqueror? A person who invades or who gets countries. Let's say, for example, if I'm a conqueror, I will say, Mr. Aziza and Tamaya. Aziza's place is mine. Charlos's place is mine. Lutfulo's bag is mine. Your phone is mine. So it's a conqueror. Before, there were no borders or boundaries. So if a conqueror comes there, and the conqueror will say, everything that I see is mine. So that's how it worked before. So William the Conqueror, who was a duke, he went and invaded, okay? Zakbatil, conquered England. So when he went to England, he got it. It's mine. Then, he and his team, of course, a conqueror will not go alone. He will have a lot of people guarding and then with him to make him strong. So he and his team, or his soldiers and very big fleet, brought with them French language. Okay, so when they went to Great Britain, they brought with them French, Francuski. Then it was very unfortunate. Why? Look at this triangle. The upper part, which is the minimal part, they were the rich people, the elite, the businessmen. And they spoke French. But the slaves, the workers, the ordinary people, they were speaking in English. So, Pikin, kada triple na prishli, when they came, English was very popular because they changed from Celtic to Englaland to English. Patong prishli karma. Karma came. What is karma? Shotidela abrat na prijot. Okay, so in Middle English, 1066, William the Conqueror and his team conquered England and they brought French. Okay, English, bye-bye. So English became the language of the poor people, the slaves, and French became the language of the government, the rich, the businessmen, and trade. So it became the language of business, government, and trade. So nabarot, understood the triangle. The French became more popular, and the English language became lower. It continued until the 4th century. In the 14th century, from the 14th century, it came back to normal. English ruled again. Yay! So from the language of the poor people, it became the best language again. Understood? Then, that was because of a poet. What's poet? It's because of a poet named Chaucer. And because of Chaucer, he was writing a lot of poems, stories, and novels. He helped that English finally became #1 again. Understood? So, that was from 1100 to 1500. That was the Middle English. Now, let's jump to Modern English. Modern English is divided into 2 parts. The Early Modern English and the Late Modern English. A lot of things happened in the Early Modern English. In Early Modern English, pronunciation became better. Pronunciation became shorter. Why? The Great Vowel Shift. What does it mean? If this is a very long word, we don't need vowels, right? Even me, when we type SMS or when we type emails and we are hurrying, you will still understand even without the vowels. Look. Hannah. Even if we remove it, you still know it's my name. You understand? So, in the early modern English period, there was the Great Vowel Shift. So, the words became shorter. Why? Because some of the vowels were removed. Then, in the 6th century, the British people, they finally opened their world. Miraznanie? Как это на русском? Miraznanie, right? So, yeah, so they said, let's be open to the other parts of the world. So, they had contacts with different people outside of their own country. So, they broadened their horizon. Then, in the early modern period, we also invented the printing press, typographia, calligraphia. So, here, they invented the printing press that printed a lot of books. Let's say, what's the name of this street? Ulit sa Chinong Jomi. Okay, so let's say, for example, ulit sa Jomi, from Mardon, going to Glasnoy. So can you imagine if from Mardon, going to Glasnoy, a lot of printing press, a lot of calligraphia. Of course, we will have a lot of books, right? So if we have a lot of books, books will be cheaper or expensive? Cheaper, of course. Why? If Shahnoza sells one book for 10 somoni and you sell it for 5 somoni, she will sell it for 3 somoni because of competition, right? So that's the reason why a lot of books were printed during the early modern period. Then, the first English dictionary came at this early modern period too. So if there's dictionary, everything became standardized. What is standardized? We have koida, we have rules already, we have the definition, we have the pronunciation and everything. So all the English speakers, they use standard things. It's because thanks to the early modern English. Understood? Then, let's jump into the late modern English time. During the late modern English time, computers came into picture. The internet came into picture. The same thing how computer and the internet changed the world, right? So, there was the Industrial Revolution. Computers, English became the language of computers, of course. You know this, the coding of computer for those who are ITs. It's in English and websites are in English, right? So like www. youtube.com, www.facebook.com. It's in English. Even if the content, you can change it into Russian, but it's in English. Then, a lot of words were adopted from other languages. So that's the brief history of the English language. I made it clear and short for all of you. Again, how many do we have? Old English, Middle, Modern English divided into two, the early and the late. Is it clear, everyone? Is it the same with what you prepared?
Yes.
Yes? Now, let me check, okay? Do not stop it, Ingos. Continue. The Old English group, you may now take the stage.
Can we get your...
Yes? Okay.